The land was dust and silence when I first saw it, miles of open plain rolling, under a hard white sun, the kind that bleaches bones and burns memories into the earth. The wind dragged itself across the ground, whispering through dry grass and rattling old fence posts that leaned like tired men. Horses didn't like this place, neither did most people. But I did. From the moment my boots touched that soil, I knew the land wasn't empty, it was waiting. I'd ridden 3 days west of Red Hollow, following a rumor and a half-burned map passed to me by a drunk surveyor who died before he could sober up. The map led to a ranch that barely existed anymore, a spread folks called Calder's Reach. No one talked about it without lowering their voice. Not because it was haunted, worse than that. It was unfinished business. The house stood alone against the horizon, a wide, low structure with a sagging porch and sun-cracked beams. The barn leaned but hadn't fallen. That told me something about the man who owned it. Men who let barns fall had already quit on life. Men who patched them just enough were still fighting. I dismounted slowly, hand resting near my holster out of habit more than fear. The place felt watched, not hostile, just alert, like an old dog that didn't bark anymore but never slept. That's when I heard coughing, deep, wet, the kind that comes from lungs that know their time is nearly spent. Inside the house, the air smelled of medicine, old wood, and sweat. A man lay on a narrow bed near the window, sunlight cutting across his face like a blade. His skin was drawn tight, eyes sharp despite the sickness eating him from the inside. He looked at me the way ranchers look at a storm, measuring, calculating what it might cost. "You're late," he said. I hadn't told him my name. I hadn't said a word at all. "Calder?" I asked. He nodded once. "You came for the land." Straight to it. I respected that. I did. He studied me for a long moment, then motioned weakly toward a chair. I sat. The floor creaked under my weight, like the house itself was listening. "You know why it's cheap?" he asked. "I know why people don't want it." He smiled thinly. "Same thing." Outside, the wind picked up, slamming the loose shutter against the wall. Calder didn't flinch. "This land feeds cattle like a promise," he said. "But it bleeds men. Everyone who tried to take it without earning it didn't last." "I'm still here," I said. "That's why I sent for you." That surprised me. Turns out the rumor wasn't an accident. Calder had been choosing, watching, waiting for someone with enough hunger to cross bad country for a piece of dirt everyone else feared. "You buy this land," he said, voice rough. "You buy its enemies." I'd already figured that much. Raiders had been circling this territory for years. Cattle thieves, claim jumpers, and one name that came up again and again in hushed tones. Silas Boone, a man who wore charm like perfume and violence like a second skin. "I can handle enemies," I said. Calder's eyes flicked toward the doorway. "You can't handle this one without help." That's when she stepped in. She moved quietly, like someone who'd learned early not to draw attention. Dark hair tied back, dust on her skirt. A rifle rested easy in her hands, not pointed, not careless, controlled. Her eyes met mine, and something unspoken passed between us. Not warmth, not trust, recognition. "This is my daughter," Calder said. "Elena." She nodded once, didn't smile. I stood, tipped my hat. "Ma'am." Her gaze lingered on me a moment longer than polite, like she was weighing my worth in silence. Calder coughed again, harder this time. Elena moved fast, bringing him water, steadying his shoulders. I saw it then, the truth no one said out loud. She wasn't just his daughter. She was the reason this ranch still stood. When Calder finally caught his breath, he looked at me again. "I'll sell you the land," he said. "Every acre, house, barn, water rights." I waited. Men like him never stopped at the offer. "One condition." There it was. "You marry my daughter." The room went still. Even the wind seemed to pause outside. Elena froze. Slowly, she turned toward her father. "No," she said, sharp and quiet. Calder didn't look at her. His eyes stayed on mine. "This land will tear itself apart once I'm gone. Boone will come. Others, too. She needs a name beside hers. A man who can stand." I felt the weight of it settle on my chest. This wasn't business. It was a dying man trying to chain the future together before it slipped through his fingers. "I don't marry for land," I said. "Then you don't get the land." Elena's jaw tightened, Anger flashed, but beneath it fear, not of me, of what came next. "You don't know him," she said to her father. Calder finally looked at her, and for a moment the hard rancher cracked. "I know I'm dying," he said, "and I know what happens to women alone out here." Silence stretched long and cruel. I stood there staring at a future I hadn't planned on. Land I wanted, a woman who looked like she'd rather shoot me than marry me, and enemies already sharpening knives. Outside, a horse whinnied. Somewhere far off, a gunshot echoed, too distant to mean trouble now, too close to ignore forever. I thought of the years behind me, the things I'd done, the places I'd left burning. "Is she free to refuse?" I asked. Calder nodded. "She says no, deal's dead." I looked at Elena, really looked. Strength in her posture, fire in her eyes, no softness yet. "And what do you say?" I asked her. She hesitated. Just a breath. "Then I say this. Land doesn't forgive cowards. If you're one, walk away now." That was answer enough. "I'll do it," I said. Calder closed his eyes, relief washing over his face like rain on dry ground. Elena stared at me, something unreadable flickering behind her anger. Outside, the wind howled again, this time like a warning. Because somewhere beyond the dusty plains, Silas Boone was already riding. And nothing about this deal was going to stay simple.